But we got some more business to do here. We got Method Synergy versus Imagine PvP as our next series. So that is going to be another North American team. This time they're not going to be playing against EU. It is going to be one of the teams that qualified through APAC. And this team sounds like a very scary team as well. A lot of players saying that this is the best team to come out of Asia. And Zico, you got to cast these matches as well. So for anyone who doesn't know about this team, hasn't gotten a chance to actually see them play, how would you actually classify them? What's their play style?
I think that this team coming out of China was the most versatile team out of every team. They had a really rough matchup against the first team that we saw today, Pen and Paper, that lost, unfortunately. They were playing the Thunder.
They look great,
but
though.
They had such a counter matchup against them, and that was the only team that was actually managing to beat them in the Chinese regionals. I thought at the time that Imagine PvP is actually the better team despite getting second place, because they had way more compositions available. They had players like Xeon playing Windwalker, playing Demon Hunter, playing Warrior. Xeon played Warrior, which was a class that he barely even played, into Pen and Paper, which was primarily TSG. And they actually won mirrors, where he did more damage than the enemy warrior. So Xeon is just an incredible player all around. And I think Imagine PvP is really good. And China in general is super good this year.
I think that it's been one of the storylines as well throughout this tournament. All the teams are kind of scared of these regions because it's a giant unknown, and playing against something like that, you don't actually have a chance to prepare.
Yeah, it's always funny. Like SkillCap comes out with their their meta picks. It's the oh, this is the best setup. These are the best healers. These are the best specs, and it's EU meta driven because it's the EU players writing it. So when people link it around in Twitch chat, they're like, "What do you think about this?" And all the NA players are like, "What are they talking about? That makes no sense. That doesn't fit the meta at all." And it's because the EU and NA metas are just so different at this point. Like at the top of the ladder, the games that you're playing constantly. And then you throw in more regions that don't queue into them at all. Like, we've seen Xeon on the NA ladders a lot, especially last year after BlizzCon. Reached out, contacted a bunch of us, got on the friends list. He was on Tichondrius for a while. So players know him. They've played with him a whole bunch, but they don't know how the team actually plays, like in a low latency setting.
Yeah, Xeon has actually managed to win NA GCDs with Chinese ping as well. And I mean, they also got Dark Archon, or Darkyo, I think he used to be called as well. And he is also a very familiar face here. He keeps qualifying time and time again. One of the most experienced players in this tournament. So this team is no joke.
Yeah, and he's actually going by OG Dark now. That's the tag that he's picked for himself. And he's
Dark,
he definitely is an OG. I mean,
Absolutely.
he was there playing last year as well. We actually did get to see him play, and he's going to be a really scary person to be going up against, especially when you don't know anything. But on the other end, we are going to have our North American champions facing off against them. Supatis, for anyone who hasn't gotten to see them, what can they expect?
I mean, their team, since they picked up Trill towards the end of the qualification process, has been mostly about aggression. They like to play the Resto Shaman, Windwalker, Death Knight, and a lot of other Shamans don't share the same opinion of Colo, just running in and pressing Purge, using every defensive in 20 seconds and running the other team over. A lot of other Shamans think that that's too risky and not worth its weight, but he still just keeps doing it, and when you're on the tournament stage and you get overwhelmed with pressure like that, it can just throw games in your favor. So if I'm China right now, I'm prepared for aggression.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things with this team. They like to be the team that forces other teams to make mistakes. Very excited to jump into this next matchup. We're going to give the players a second to get ready, and when we return, we are going to see APAC face off against North America.
They need to land one more trap. Cyfoxy eating the Hodge behind the pillar. Nice skull bash. They need to land it. Bursting shot. And will he land the trap? Kara scanning. Kara eats the trap, but it's not enough.
Oh.
Another. Bursting shot away. Kara's trying to land the trap. Snipes in the trap. Now SSDS could be in trouble if he doesn't land a trap of his own, but he's caught into the stun lock. He's not able to. Amni caught into the fear. Smoke bomb gets dropped. Cheap shot. Could knock Kara over. SSDS moves in. Gets bursting shot away. Kara trying to escape. Nixie peels Avenge away. Good teamwork. Now a life grip saves us to solo him. Nice knockback as well. Avenge is not able to reconnect. Amni into the kidney shot. A full fear to follow it up, and Avenge is going to go down. ABC tied this from Nixie, holding SSDS down, but now the exhilaration heals him back up above half. He's still out in the open, and Kara is letting it rip. Aspect of the turtle has been forced. Ascroft is moving in for the killing blow with that crowd control. Fear has been landed. They switch their attention to Avenge.
The 2017 World of Warcraft Arena World Championship is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
首先，我觉得如果暴雪能给中国区2个名额，我觉得是非常不错的，因为，这样的话能更加的促进就是中国地区这个水平整体提升，而且其次呢，就是说中国确实是每一年我觉得都是比每一年强的，然后也希望能就是暴雪能更关注一下末日世界这边竞技场的发展。首先是对自己，包括就是对就是向我们家人证明了一些就因为在中国，它这个打游戏并不是说可能作为一个许多人可以接受的职业，然后或者是就可以接受的一个这个当做一个电子竞技来看，但是如果我能用我自己的行动来证明了这个，就是它是一个其实是一个很对的发展方向，然后也同时希望这个电子竞技能发展的越来越好。首先第一点呢，大逆他平常跟我们玩的比较多，然后其次呢，就是我们更觉得就是大逆如果能加入我们这个队伍，更能配出来就许多我们就是可以打的比较一线的组合。首先不光是对我们自己的一个证明吧，因为新加入的队员他也是一个老玩家了，然后他同样不光对于我们整个队伍的凝聚力啊，包括就是对他个人的也是有一个就是感觉非常有荣誉感的一个提升，因为他毕竟也是一个老玩家了。每一个玩魔兽世界的这个竞技场的玩家都希望他能进入这个美国，来到这个BlizzCon参加一个线下的比赛。
他们的组合更偏向于赛道，然后我们这队伍是更偏向于法系。然后就是平常一起玩的时候，经常就是今天你跟一部分人一起玩，明天你可能跟另外一部分人一起玩，然后就突然就玩着玩着，突然发现，哎，这样更适合，就这样一起打。我觉得在比赛舞台上，大部分人其实都会紧张的，但是有时候其实紧张能让你更有力量。我们的对手其实早在我们很久前玩美服就已经遇到过很多次了，包括就在MOP 时代，然后我们跟对手的水平还有组合各方面其实比较相似的，我觉得主要看发挥吧。
Getting to BlizzCon means a lot to all of us. I know that me and Colo have been working towards this for quite a while, and I think I was third in 2012. Colo's been pushing towards this for about 6 years, I think, as well. I think to a lot of WoW players, it's just one of those things that everyone wants. So it's a huge thing to be here. We've been practicing every single day, pretty much since we started playing in I think February of this year. So it's definitely been something we've put a lot of time into, and I hope we put on a decent show and deserve it. If I was able to say a couple words to the people that have been supporting us, obviously it'd be thank you, because we all have really, really great people that follow us and support us. To be able to do this for a living and as a team do this professionally is definitely a dream to all of us. So yeah, I love you to everyone who supports us.
You've seen their faces, now it's time to see what they can do when we jump into the arena. It is going to be a match against NA and the APAC region. My name is Rich Campbell, I am your host, and joining me on the desk, we have Zico to analyze all of the matches, and to cast them, we have VHEL and Supatis. Now guys, we got to hear quite a bit about these players, actually got to hear what they had to say, but it's undeniable there's just a lot on the line for these Asian teams. Like, we have not gotten to see them too much actually show out full force in BlizzCon. We have 2 teams here this year. VHEL, just like, how much does this mean? You've been around since like the dawn of Warcraft PvP.
Yeah, you know, when we follow the Chinese regionals, when Zico was casting them, it's always funny that Dark Archon shows up tournament after tournament after tournament, and it doesn't matter what team he's on, he's just always a great member. But I'm really excited that, you know, we were able to give, now that we have 12 teams, we were able to give China 2 slots this year. They definitely have earned their spots. That first match of the day, extremely close game. What a great way to start everything off with Pen and Paper doing a great job. And both teams are really great friends. We were able to talk to both teams beforehand yesterday, and we were asking what happened, because those teams, you basically could mix both teams together, and we've seen them play together in tournaments before. But we were asking, you know, is this bad? Was it like bad blood? Did you guys have an issue? Is that why you guys are split up? And he's like, no, they're just friends. And
yeah,
well,
their word, the word that they used, they said nature.
They
They basically were saying that it was very organic, the way that they actually did see the teams move in the Asian region. And now, right now on your screen, we're going to turn our attention to Method Synergy. You got Trill on your screen. Now, this guy has just been, in my opinion, one of the guys who really enabled this team to be put on the map. Trill just plays everything. He just has so many different classes at his disposal. He's a big PvEer. He's a big PvPer as well. He's just one of the best in the game, period. Now, we've already seen NA do it in the last series. We're going to have to see if NA can do it again. But really quick, we're going to jump to a quick video to make sure everyone at home knows exactly how to watch all of the action that goes down in the arena.
Yeah, so we're just going to dive right into the game, you know, because Nagrand Arena is where we start off. On the top left, of course, that is going to be Method Synergy. And there you go. It's going to be Mez on that Frost DK, Trill playing Windwalker with Colo on the Resto Shaman.
What is this comp?
Top right, this is
China,
kind of
bro.
odd.
This is China, bro.
I mean, it's double Shaman Warlock, and I do
but what
believe...
spec of Warlock? It's hard to tell.
We'll find out in a second. It'll be interesting.
I think it's Destro.
Yeah, I'm leaning
It must
on
be
the side
Destro,
of
long gateway. Oh, they actually interrupted the gateway.
He's trying to go for it again. That Voodoo Totem allowed Alistair to secure the gateway, and yeah, I can imagine that he is destruction.
Yeah.
A full Hexo landed on Cole. What is going on with Jykes? Already down below, very low HP. Astral Shift has been traded out. This is the all-out aggression that Method Synergy have built their name on, and catching Jykes off guard very early on, still just training him down. Needs to get behind a pillar, line of sight those incoming purges. In the meantime, OG Dark trying to get some work done. Hex secured onto Colo. Mez trades out anti-magic shell. Trill commits the touch of karma offensively. They're going all in for the kill. Will he fall or will he stand is the question, as he's trying to defy the kill, but it is not enough. Method Synergy and their all-out aggression. Stomp out China here in round number 1.
I don't think this was a comp we expected out of China.
Oh, no, not at all. But I will say that what was what was really interesting to watch this Destro Warlock play against the 2 melee. We've talked about this cremation spec and being able to AoE just so well. And when you take a look at it, when you have an Ellie Shaman who can cleave very well, plus the destruction together, Trill and Mez were down to half very, very quickly, even though they were committing all these offensive cooldowns into the Resto Shaman.
Yeah, and we actually heard some players, this is one of those, like cremation in particular, I feel like is one of those talents that we actually see players go back and forth on. Certain players really don't like it. They say that it's really easy to actually just avoid that talent, to actually split up. But
look how happy Mez is that was so easy. I feel like he's like, oh, thank God at this point.
Yeah, oh, of
They
course.
were probably not knowing what to expect. They were thinking, whoa, the other Chinese team literally almost
I don't
took
think they were
Splice out. Like,
expecting
well,
this.
they definitely didn't expect that. Yeah, it just definitely did go in their favor. I like the fact, though, that on the blind, they're sticking with the composition that really did get them here, one of the compositions that has shined in this tournament. I really think Walking Dead is one of the all-stars composition-wise, but so is Thundercleave. So but getting to see them play on that Walking Dead is definitely very good. And Zico, I think we might see more of that out of them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have Trill as your Windwalker on your team, you need to use Trill as your Windwalker on your team, because even in this short
not
game,
as your healer like we saw last year when he was on Turtastic. Yeah. Now we're actually getting to see him where he really does shine.
I mean, even in this game, like, I know it was a very short game, but you saw so many nice things come out of Trill. Like, when the Touch of Death was about to proc, before the Shaman gets away, slightly before, he times that stun, make sure that it procs in the stun before the Shaman can get away and top himself. And just small things like that really do catch people off guard, because you know, this double Shaman lock comp, it didn't look that great, obviously, but at the same time, a lot of that pressure is because of Trill. We had Mez doing the opener pressure, and then Trill kind of just closing out the game for them. And that's also a big thing why Thunder is so popular, because you have that warrior who is kind of the gatekeeper of the team. You know, if you want to try to mess with the Ellie, you got the warrior standing there, peeling you off, disarming people, fearing, stunning, etc. And if you have two casters, it's a little bit more tricky because the warlock actually has to cast fears and he can get interrupted and so on.
It's important, the thing that you did just note as well, with Trill being able to get out pressure like that, he really can dictate the tempo of the game, because as Vihel already mentioned, with the composition that Imagine PvP was running, they were able to get everybody very low on method synergy. So if you don't have someone like Trill who's able to actually get in there, potentially get off peels, and get in all of that damage, you might just see Imagine PvP win with this absolutely wonky comp. But Supatis, going into this second game, I feel like we're probably going to see something change on the side of Imagine PvP.
I just want to see Zion play.
Yeah.
Me
literally,
too.
if I have to come to BlizzCon and Zion is playing, I just want to watch him play. That's it. I don't really, he could lose every game. I just want to watch him play. So his Windwalker play all the way back to Miss of Pandaria has been stellar, and like, people credit Chun-Li as like the best Windwalker in the world, but I think Zion could give him a run for his money, and I really hope that they try to enable him here, maybe a Destruction Windwalker set up instead. The Windwalker can peel away the other Windwalker with incapacitates and Fists of Fury stuns. We saw that with PCAT switching to Monk in the end of their series against Splice, so I really think they should utilize him. Maybe they mirror. Maybe they just say, caution to the wind, we're going to run at your Shaman, you're going to run at our Shaman, and if you die first, we win, and just go all out.
And one of the things with method synergy, too, we've kind of talked about it with the players, they're not a team that wants to mirror. If they can avoid a mirror, they always want to be in that position where they don't want a 50-50. I'm trying to remember the exact quote that we actually heard from Mez, but he basically was saying he wants to always put himself in a position where he can afford mistakes and still be able to win, was the gist of what he said. Yeah. He always wants to be looking to edge out based on composition and not rely just on sheer skill. Obviously, they want to bring the skill. They don't want to be making those mistakes, but you know, if you have that even if it's a 4% edge, if you have a 10% edge, they want to really ride that. So they don't want that mirror. It would be great if Imagine PvP could do just that and try to break out that mirror composition here.
Yeah, I do believe he was referring to at that point was when you are being counter-comped in something like this, where you don't have a choice in comp, basically. You know, that the enemy team is going to be able to, you know, just, oh, here's the hard counter, go ahead. He wants those matchups, the really hard matchups that everyone on paper say is a throwaway. He wants to increase the chances of that to the point where if you can bring that to a 50-50, if you can bring your counter that they're going to pick to a winnable state, even if it's like the one thing has to happen in the matchup, we have to do this exact sequence right and we can win. That's what he's always looking for.
Yeah, that was like one of the interesting things, because he was looking at both sides of the situation. He was like, hey, if I can get to hang out every time and just counter comp, of course that's what I want. I don't want to take the mirror matchups, but when I am in these terrible situations, we're going to bring even the worst matchups up to a 50-50. That's definitely their goal. We do see that Dalaran Sewers is going to be the pick here from Imagine PvP, and Zico, our expert on the desk. What do you think this telegraphs as far as what Imagine PvP wants to play compositionally?
Some kind of cleave. I mean, their TSG was not the best. I don't know if they've practiced it more. I know for a fact that they cannot play Thunder because G is the Shaman of the team and he's also the healer of the team. So he plays Druid and Shaman. I don't really know. I think we're going to see Xeon do his debut. Maybe, like Sid was saying, some kind of Warlock, Windwalker
Windwalker
composition.
Destro maybe, yeah.
It's not too bad. They also have some cleave options with the Demon Hunter, things like that. It's going to be interesting to see, though. It's really, really hard to call this team because they have so many different comps, and also they play really strange things. Like in the China finals, this team played double Warlock Shaman, for example. And now they're playing double Shaman Warlock, so maybe next game they're just playing triple Shaman. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it seems to be the pattern that we are seeing out of them. But I do want to note as well, you kind of can't see them quite as clearly because they are hanging out behind their screens. But you do see Money Mike hanging out over there, and he's such a big influence even when he is outside of the game. You can see him smiling, cracking jokes, and just the team spirits right now. They're in an incredible place, and you don't always see this out of Method Synergy. So I think that's going to be a big factor when we do jump in as well. But Imagine PvP definitely has some tricks up their sleeves, and we have some seasoned veterans on their side as well. Now, what do you think, Zico, they're expecting to get out of, like, they're doing a little bit of class stacking. What do you think they're actually looking for in these compositions?
I think that they really don't have the Thunder, so they're just trying to pick something that's kind of similar to the Thunder that they can work with. I mean, there's also war game results here from behind the scenes that we don't really know how it plays out. Maybe they farmed Windwalker DK with this double Shaman comp behind the scenes, and now it's different on stage. There's nerves, or someone made a mistake, or we really don't know. But yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Zion.
So it's a Windwalker DK mirror.
Holy Pally is the difference.
Yeah, Holy Pally is going to be the difference. And Supatis, you're healing all the time. What is it about the Holy Pally? What is it going to actually change in this matchup?
I mean, his Blessing of Protection is going to be purged off. I wonder if he'll play Avenging Crusader.
Yeah, and just go all in.
And that somewhat seems to be the playstyle that we've seen out of them already.
All in. This is more all in than the all in. That's a lot of all in.
You know what? I think that's just about as all in as we can get.
Okay,
we'll have to see.
I think
that was too far. That was one all in too far.
I was just going all in with it. Sid. You brought it up. You brought it up. So what do you actually expect to see, Zika, when we do go in with this mirror? Method Synergy, this is like their comp this season. This is how they qualified here. We saw them break this out quite a few times. Obviously, Demon Hunter. We're not going to talk about that too much, but we saw them play this composition quite a bit. Do you think they'll be able to go toe-to-toe with Imagine PvP in the mirror?
I think that this comp comes down to one team actually has to adapt and be the defensive team, and unfortunately for Method Synergy, it's going to be them. They have to be defensive. They are not on the clock here. They need to abuse that, and also they have a Shaman. The Shaman, like Sid said, if you pop melee wings and you go onto him, that's a big win condition for Imagine PvP. So you need to do that, to deal with that rather, and maybe do defensive stuns and defensive Fist of Fury onto the DPS, because tunneling the Holy Paladin is not that effective as Windwalker DK. You grip him in, he has the freedom, he's got his steed as well to get away with Blessing of Protection. Even if you purge it off, if he does it on the Fist of Fury, it still dispels the stun, you still have bubble, you have layers of defensives, whereas the Shaman can just kind of get globalized in 1 or 2 setups.
Globalized.
Let Zico do the Zico-isms. But I think the other thing to note, though, when we actually do talk about this team in particular, they want to be the team that's aggressive. Method Synergy likes to be the team that's aggressive as well. So if they are forced into this defensive place, that could be bad for them. They've already said they like to be the team that actually forces other teams to make mistakes. But just in case you didn't catch it last time, we're going to show you a quick video of how to watch WoW PvP.
Along with the action, we've built a spectator interface that shows you all the information you need. Let's walk through it so you know exactly what to look out for during combat. For each player, we have 2 rows of spells located underneath their health bar. The first row of icons you see are defensive abilities that reduce or prevent damage. When a player activates a vital defensive cooldown like Divine Shield, you'll see a blue shield effect pop up. Players will be harder to kill while these spells are active. The bottom row of ability icons you see are offensive cooldowns. These will be abilities that greatly increase a player's damage output or how much healing they're able to generate as a healer. When a player activates a strong offensive cooldown, a visible fire effect appears behind their health bar. They'll be very dangerous while that's active. In the top right corner of each player's frame, you can see which of the 3 anti-crowd control honor talents they've picked. These are powerful abilities that remove or reduce incoming crowd control effects. Lastly, if matches go on for a long period of time, the healers will have to contend with the built-in dampening effect. Dampening kicks in once 5 minutes have elapsed and reduces the effectiveness of all healing spells and effects. Now you're ready to follow along with the fast-paced action of the World of Warcraft arena.
You guys know exactly what to look for. We're going to jump straight in here with Method Synergy versus Imagine PvP.
And we can see Imagine PvP trying to go all out towards Colo, but they got peeled away by Mez. Of course, Mez is going to be the one you want on your back, protecting you. In the meantime, Jai getting gripped in. He's trying to freedom away, and Kite, he's playing the double Blessing of Protection, double Sacrifice. He's not going all in, but they're going to run him down, and that's the correct strategy. Paralyzes the Aura Heal. Can Colo jump over and purge it? He's not able to get over in time, but Jai had to bubble anyway. Colo now getting
getting bursted down. Astral Shift is over. Anti-Magic Zone is fading. We see Trill trying to peel him away. The Double Fist of Fury buys Colo time to top off as he guns it out of there. Wants to create as much distance as possible. Now OG Dark getting swapped to dangerously low. Anti-Magic Shell seems to be enough for him to stabilize. Mez now caught into the Fist of Fury as they switch their attention to him, but he gets Voodoo Totem on the Fist. Well done from Colo. Breaks up that stun and damage. Now Colo trying to jump away from the grip, but he got rooted on it. Good play by OG Dark. That's going to hold Colo in place. Now Mez, Trill, and Colo are all stacked up, and they could easily just all fall. Spirit Link, Icebound Fortitude, Death Strikes to heal in the Spirit Link. Nice play by Mez, but they kill the Spirit Link off before they can benefit. Now Colo caught into a stun. Trill tries to reverse it with the stun of his own, but it's not enough. Spear Hand Strike down at 1%. Colo gets out aggroed. Zion, Touch of Karma to secure his life, and Imagine PvP say, no way, Jose N.A., we're going to out aggro you today.
Didn't even have to use Blinding Light during that either. That was very impressive.
Oh, that was so many cultures brought into that one call, Super T. But really impressive performance coming out here from Imagine PvP, and they showed that they could actually do it in the mirror. Now the question is, do we see Method Synergy take that mirror again? Obviously, some changes did come in as far as healers were concerned, trying to get a little bit more aggressive on the Imagine PvP side of the stage. But what was it about those aggressive plays that really paid dividends, Zico?
So the biggest difference is the healer difference. And in my eyes, the key thing here was that Method tried to rush the Paladin when they have a Shaman. You're playing a mirror. Whatever you're doing to the Paladin, they can do to your Shaman as well. So the Paladin is always going to get away. We saw him mount up on his steed with freedom, kind of get away. We saw him use his bubble, and the Shaman doesn't have all of that luxury. The first time he got gripped in, that was Spirit Link. The second time, he kind of just flopped.
Yeah, and now with that in the rear view mirror, we want to hear what you guys have to say. Who do you think is going to be able to take this one? You can vote for your favorite team in Twitch chat. All you got to do is hashtag SYN or hashtag IMG for Imagine PvP. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to ask the casters, though, as well, now that we've seen these matches, because this has been pretty crazy. Starting with you, VHL, who do you think is actually going to be able to come out on top here?
I think Method Synergy is just because we know this team, now that we know that they won the Grand and they have the advantage, we know that they're going to have the map advantage going into Game 5. We know they have a very deep roster in terms of the comps that they could play. At this point, I would have to say Method Synergy definitely. Even going into this, I felt like Method Synergy was a stronger team overall, just, you know, in terms of the way they talked to us in the interview and talked about how much preparation they put in for this tournament. But these two Chinese teams have been impressing everyone, and it's the normal thing. People on the way into practice for BlizzCon, like before we've actually seen the teams, you just count them out. You're like, the Latin American teams, you know, the APAC teams, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just NA versus EU. But yet again, that region is bringing surprises to the table.
Yeah, I think one of the huge things that you did mention, though, as well, is just how important the first game may actually be in this series. Yeah. It hasn't happened as much today as sometimes you do expect it to be, that blind pick being very important. Let's take a peek, though, at how the series has shaken out and just see how important it just may be for them moving on forward. And Super T's also, as we do actually take a look at these replays, I want to hear from you who you think will be able to take it.
I mean, overall, who do I think is going to be able to take this? I think it's Method Synergy. They have the Thunder Cleave, which seems to be the composition answer to Windwalker Death Knight, and Trill can play Elemental. I think there's just one play here that I really want to point out. When Colo uses Spirit Link, Mez Icebound Fortitudes, and Death Strikes to full health, and then that splits the health to the rest of his teammates. That was like a really good coordinated play, but on the opposite side, Imagine PvP killed the Spirit Link totem so fast that it didn't redistribute the health. So OG Dark had some very clutch plays that he made, rooting the Gust of Wind to hold Colo in place, killing the Spirit Link instantly, and it was just play-by-play, really fast-paced, and just out-aggroed them, basically. So well played from China, but I still think if they play Thunder for this Windwalker DK matchup and we bounce back and forth to Game 5, that Method Synergy should take this.
That is going to be the big question. We're going to have to see if they are able to countercomp. Right now, they are going to be locking in that draft, so we're going to take a quick breather. When we return, we're going to see who's going to be able to take this one.
The 2017 World of Warcraft Arena World Championship is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
Method Synergy versus Imagine PvP is already underway. If you're just tuning in now, you jumped into a great series. This is going to be the last one of the day that's not an elimination match as well, so you definitely jumped in at a good time. My name is Rich Campbell. I'm going to be your host. All the analysis going to be done by the Mage King, Zico, at the end of the desk. And then we have Supertees and VHEL to cast this series, which is about to get underway. And I'm just so excited to see what these teams actually do break out for the rest of the series. Supertees, this one's already been crazy.
I mean, we've got Zico here for the analysts. We've got VHEL and myself here for the casting. We got Richard here to make fun of.
Oh, I see.
So it's going to be a great day.
And say hello, but let's jump straight in to this third game of the series. And Supertees, we'll let you be a rap god here.
All right, here we go. Colo, Mez, and Trill are going to be switching over onto Demon Hunter and Warrior and Resto Druid. I think it's a fair matchup here against the Windwalker Death Knight. Warriors and Demon Hunters both provide a lot of pressure by themselves on a Holy Paladin, and I can expect to see them split up. Probably Trill is going to attack the Death Knight, and Mez is going to attack the Holy Paladin. They'll stay split the entire match, and then reconvene during crowd control burst moments, and then go back to splitting. And the mana should be in favor of the Druid, so it's a smart composition pick here for Synergy.
So Trill is playing Ravager 2 instead of having that Blade Storm and Anger Management. So this is pretty interesting. I'm interested to see how we use it. I assume when they go to the all-in AoE is when he's going to drop it. Yeah.
Is he actually Ravager?
He is. That is Ravager.
This isn't Mythic Plus Trill. Double leg sweep, though, onto Mez and Trill. They're trying to go aggressive here with OG Dark popping that Pillar of Frost. Gripping Colo now in for a stun, and Mez dipping low, down below half HP. Haven't managed to get the blur just yet. OG Dark recovering, though, with some quick heals by Jai. Now Trill very low, dive by the storm, barely activated in time with that paralysis caught onto Colo. They swap over to Mez now. Colo has burned a ton of defensive cooldowns to recover, and this was not how I expected this matchup to play up.
No, not at all. We see the paralysis onto the Paladin just for a second, but a lot of damage onto Mez right now, and that Fist of Fury stun taking a lot of damage. Colo
Jai moves in, lands the full stun, and now Mez definitely needs to consider running away. Blur has been popped to reduce the pressure on himself. They switch over to Colo, and Zion does so much damage. This pressure they're keeping is relentless. Colo just can't escape from it. Barkskin is now faded. His entire team is vulnerable. Will he be able to recover is the question. I'd almost like to see Jai just go all out, get in there, get that Hodge out of the paralysis, and just get a kill. They get the leg sweep instead. Unfortunately, it was DR'd. The first mistake there by Zion, and now he gets storm bolted away. Colo should be able to easily escape. OG Dark getting disarmed, trying to disarm the IBF. Nice play there from Trill, but they don't even need to use it. Trill now gets swapped to. He's low, blinding light onto Colo, and Trill could fall. Darkness gets popped out by Mez. Trill is hiding in that darkness right now to stay alive. Zion trying to keep up the aggression, though. Trill dipping lower and lower. They grip him in, trying to harass the heals out from Colo. OG Dark now getting in reverse at 20%. Does the Icebound Fortitude? He's so greedy with the Icebound Fortitude. Holds on to it. Trill has recovered. Method Synergy just need to take a second and breathe. Just calm down, relax, play defensive, and play for the long game, because Jai's mana, look at it, it's already halfway down.
And he's out of Blessing of Sacrifices also, which is really important. That's what kept OG alive right there. And there we go. Now we have the gigantic Icebound Fortitude heals coming out by OG Dark. But the Holy Paladin, again, at half right now. Mez is poking here and there, like making his way over to him when he can. That AMZ is popped to stop a bunch of the damage from Mez, but now we're going to have another Fist of Fury stun. I do like that Zayon and OG Dark are, they're collapsing on a target when they need. Here comes the grip into the stun.
The leg sweep. Mez blade dance and dodged the leg sweep. Now Zion is in trouble. He has no touch of karma. He's caught to the Chaos Nova. Instantly trinkets out. They're going to go all in for the kill on Cole, but Vortex pulls Zion back. They can't reconnect. OG Dark, if he goes around that corner, will surely go down. Colo into the paralysis. They switch over to Mez. Mez has Blur available. Now the Death Knight is in trouble, but he wants to stay aggressive. Who will fall first? Zion is trying to kite away. Ports for the heal, but he ported right in the middle of the map. The heal seems to be enough to keep him going. Imprison on Jai. He trinkets out of that. He wants to keep his team completely topped. He knows they're on the ropes. They need to find a kill soon, and they need to stay aggressive.
Yeah, OG Dark back up to full again as The only defensive they have left right now is going to be the
Oh,
bubble.
the fear on the grip. Trill just peeled a great setup. Colo got bear form as a result. Mez is flying in the air. Synergy are perfectly fine in this position as Mez rains down fire towards his opponents. OG Dark at half HP. Jai is almost completely tapped on mana. He gets interrupted by Mez. Mez looking for the MVP play to take the game. Will Jai be able to handle the pressure? Gets imprisoned away. OG Dark into 3v2. Zion moves over. They need to kill. They go for the Fist of Fury. That's not enough. Jai moves in for the Blinding Light Hodge play. The last play of the game for Imagine PvP. If they don't find a kill here, I don't think they ever will. Mez is down below half, but he's kiting away. They can't stay on target. They swap back over to Trill, but the stun was DR'd. They get died by the sword nonetheless. Trill could be an opening here if they can keep this momentum. They might have just lost the game though if they can't. OG Dark down below half, and Jai basically has nothing left. OG Dark barely hanging on. Death Strike after Death Strike, and Jai, unless he finds a drink, this game's gonna be over soon.
I understand the Ravager now. They're dropping it on top of the Ursul's Vortex with Battle Cry in there, so it's just the AoE cleave them both down. OG Dark getting kind of low. That Blessing of Sacrifice is used though, able to freeze his life right there since it's the 100% sacrifice. We do have the bubble still available as OG Dark was disarmed right there. 45 seconds till his Icebound Fortitude.
Look at the melee, they're just moving in and out to try and avoid a double stun. They're literally dancing next to each other, trying not to stack. Trill has been moving in and out as well. There's the Stormbolt onto Zion. He gets this bopped out of it. Zion's going all in, but get imprisoned on the bop. Nice play from Mez, good reaction. Colo getting trained down, but with Bearform and Barksian should be perfectly fine to tank this out. Good plays from Colo so far, not getting caught off guard. Mez now getting swapped to. He's getting bursted down half. Pops the Metamorphosis to reverse the pressure around. OG Dark trades out Anti-Magic Zone, that shield, his last line of defense. Colo still getting harassed by Zion. If Zion can find an opening, they could get the kill. Colo is out of form, but OG Dark could go down as well. So much pressure, executes after executes, will ultimately claim the kill, and Method Synergy find it.
That was the Ursul's Vortex Ravager again. This is the first time I've seen this, like, actually been used, you know. Never seen it on streams, never seen it in tournaments, but it's really interesting. I like that play.
The question is how good is it? You know, we used to see Ursol
You can't
Vortex.
Blade Store out of CC, right? You won't have that, so you're going to just have to Ravager. That is like, okay, we know that Windwalker DK is going to train one target. If we get them together, might as well do it.
You just get slowed so much. Like, you just get rooted. There are a lot of problems that can definitely happen with it, but we've seen combos like this before in Legion. We saw Ursol's Vortex really popular back with the Fell Ward a little while ago. Now we are going to see it paired with the Ravager. So Method Synergy still coming up with a bunch of new plays here when they are playing against this, and now they will lead in this series.
I think it's really good that they picked the Ravager and they comboed it with the Ursol's Vortex, because the goal of the game is to outlast and also to burn the mana as quickly as possible from the Pala. So when you do that combo, you actually have to heal everybody, and it's a very tough situation to be in. And also, normally when you Blade Storm, you can't use your other spells aside from, you know, Kick and Reflect, I believe, but you can use your damaging abilities. So when you actually have the Ravager, it actually lets you use your normal spells as well, adding up some extra DPS there and burning up that mana quicker. So it's a nice thing, but having the Blade Storm to actually pre-Blade Storm one of those grip stun setups and then be able to disarm the DK and, you know, play defensively like that, I think that's better, honestly.
But the pressure is undeniable, though. Let's actually take a look at just how much damage they were able to get out with that Ravager combo, and also we'll see just how low the mana actually fell for the opposing healer here, Seiko.
Well, one additional thing you can do also is Trill can spec into Storm of Destruction, which puts Mortal Strike down when he Ravages also. That means they're going to have Mortal Strike on both targets for every single burst, too. Which is, I mean, that's really smart. I love this choice.
Yeah,
it's really good offensively for sure. And I mean, knowing that Method Synergy is such an offensive team as well, it's not really that surprising when you think about it. And right now on your screen, we just had a nice triple stun setup. Here, once again, we see Colo dropping some heals, G pushing in for that blinding light. Trill is so dangerously low, but Mez coming in clutch with that stun into that darkness. Gonna save the day while Colo is chilling in that stun, in that blind into paralyzed, sorry. And Trill is gonna recover there with the Iron Bark. And these were, you know, some of the most closest calls that we had in this game. And then here we go, he's dropping that Ravager again. And this was also, you know, just textbook play from Method Synergy. They know their win condition. At this point, G has no more mana, and OG Dark just, you know, falls to the pressure because...
Oh, he had Icebound Fortitude in 5 seconds.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was definitely really close there, but one of the things, Super Tees, that you were starting to say was... they kind of had ran the clock pretty far, and it was difficult for them to even find a win condition that late in the game after everything that did pan out.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they were just making a couple of mistakes with their diminishing returns. So if you stun a player, you have to wait another 15 or 18 seconds to stun him again, or else the stun is half duration, then quarter duration. And there were a lot of leg sweeps that were quarter.
There were, yeah.
And you can't afford to do that with your stun on such a long cooldown. Colo will just be breathing easy. Whoa, that was a 0.4-second leg sweep instead of a 5-second leg sweep, which is a huge amount of time that you don't have to deal with damage coming your way. So if they can clean up the stuns, they might be able to take it, but it seems like it's not a favorable matchup for them, with Mez being able to literally fly vertically in the air, horizontally in the air, with the warrior being able to leap away as well. It seems difficult for Zion's team to pin them down. They definitely fought it out valiantly, and aside from the stun diminishing returns, I think they played it out very well.
And
so, one of the
things
things
about diminishing returns, though, I haven't really noted that a lot of these players, that you may know them and have seen them play with a lot of add-ons when they're playing at home. When they actually get here to the tournament, they are not allowed to use any of those add-ons. So they are tracking that all inside of their heads. So that is going to change things quite a bit, and it makes it way easier for those mistakes to come in, and that's why sometimes it's, all of a sudden you see a rogue mage team
yeah, that is one of the reasons why we don't see rogue mage teams doing as well. I definitely know that there are some very top of the line rogue mage preset can play completely without any add-ons and don't have to worry about, you know, all the DRs, you know, or knowing if the enemy team has every specific defensive cooldown for every one of your setups. But when you don't have access to that, you know, you have to communicate with your team a lot. You have to use the in-game stopwatch, you know, on some of your stun abilities to keep track of it. So there's all those little things that these players have to do on top of playing their A game and beating the other team.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because honestly, one of the best land rogue mages I think of this season is actually going to be one of the guys on the analyst desk too. I think that he was just absolutely phenomenal this season, and maybe when he actually does pop on, we can start to ask him different things about how teams actually have to prepare for something like that, because it's dramatic change when you actually do jump up on this main stage and you can't use different things like add-ons. I actually saw Zico and Supertees fighting over it when we were messing around playing yesterday.
Yeah, so one thing I gotta wonder now is that if you take a look at Method Synergy, whenever they're doing blind, they realize that if you pick another healer than Shaman, it's usually pretty counterable, but Shaman tends to be the healer that does well into the most amount of matchups. So my question for Imagine PvP is, they have G, he's a phenomenal Shaman. Why didn't they just go blind Windwalker DK Shaman? They use the Paladin to counter the Shaman pick, and then they fall back to their own Shaman pick for Method Synergy's counter pick. And we really don't know. Does Method Synergy actually have an answer to their own medicine?
Maybe not. I mean, it could be a Game 5 Windwalker DK mirror, or it could be Demon Hunter Warrior against Resto Shaman Windwalker DK, which I think is much more winnable for the Windwalker DK. And I think here, get the Paladin, just crush Colo out, run him down. Then when we go to Game 5, if they throw a Demon Hunter Warrior, you're expecting a Demon Hunter Warrior, so switch him on Shaman on Game 5. They have to get to that point, though.
Yeah, they need to win this game.
Yeah, maybe Colo made some mistakes. We don't really know. So fast-paced, maybe he can play better and extend it and still win on the Shaman, and this just ends now.
I actually feel like Xeon made a critical mistake in game number 1. And you know, in this, right before Colo actually died, they gripped in Colo and tried to get a triple stun, and he missed the leg sweep onto Colo, which is the main guy that you want to stun. And they still managed to insta-kill the Link and then still hit some kicks and make up for that and kill him. So I think on the flip side, actually, Imagine PvP could have played that even better and actually won that game even, you know, even more convincingly.
Yeah, I think that is a big thing to note as well, though. You know, Method Synergy is somewhat in the driver's seat with this series, as Vihel mentioned a little bit earlier on. They were able to get that blind pick. That momentum is going to be here throughout the rest of this match with how the chips have fallen. So they actually don't need to put themselves in a position where they need to do something cheeky, expecting, oh, okay, Imagine PvP is going to try to mirror us, except the only thing they're going to be switching up is the Paladin. Like, they could do something cheeky, but if they pick a cute composition, then all of a sudden Imagine PvP can just kind of come in right now, find something that beats that, and then Method Synergy doesn't have the luxury of playing with comfort like they do here. Like, Method Synergy could very easily win one of these mirrors. That's one of the incredible things about the Walking Dead cleave. It finds kills in weird places out of nowhere sometimes. So Method Synergy may be able to pick this one up. If not, when they go to a Game 5, they can very easily attempt to counter comp Imagine PvP. And we already know they have so many different compositions at their advantage, in their pocket, sorry. And as you noted, though, the big question is can they beat themselves? Because that's kind of what playing against this comp feels like.
Yeah, and I really think that Method Synergy is an intelligent team. I think if they adapt their strategy now and just play defensive this game, they will automatically win like they did just now on Tolveron. They run the Paladin so quickly. The Shaman is going to have 80 or 70% of his mana left. So if they just play defensive, I think they can even take this game and make it a 3-1 and, you know, call it a day.
And like you said, they do have that experience already. They have already seen this matchup once. We'll have to see if Method Synergy can switch up their strategy and take it this time, or if Imagine PvP will prove that they can play this Windwalker DK to the fullest.
So the Paladin is going to be running Blinding Light again. We saw it used on Colo towards the end of the last round on Tolveron. Almost a success. They were almost able to score a kill onto Trill at that point. So let's see, out of the gates, pretty much identical picks talents-wise that we can tell. We'll get into the match right now.
Yeah, if you're a healer, if you're Colo and Jai right now, you are screaming. This is the most stressful thing as a healer, to be gunned down by a Windwalker and a Death Knight. You can tell they're 40 yards away. These healers are hiding in the corners. They do not want to get swapped to, but Colo's going to get gripped in first as they look to get a stun, but they don't land the stun, and Colo actually was able to jump away. OG Dark's going to chase him down, gets voodooed away. In the meantime, now Jai has been gripped into the middle of the field. He's getting bursted down. It could be a Divine Shield. He gets a double blinding light, but they don't both trinket.
Look at how low.
They got a double trinket. They trade out Divine Shields. He's not going to have that blinding light for some time. This is definitely Method Synergy's game to try and win, getting the Divine Shield out of the way if they can get some purges, but Colo walks into a stun. Looks like they're going to go after Trill. It seems like Imagine PvP are kind of all over the place with their targeting. Jai gets gripped back in. He's desperately trying to get away. He needs to get away. He needs the space from Mez and Trill. He's hiding behind the pillars. Trill is gunning him down, paralyzes him for Mez to reconnect. Mez is too far. Trill might go for the solo kill. Colo lands a double voodoo. Zion, OG Dark going to move out of that. And now with Pillar of Frost, a ticking time bomb. 10 seconds it's going to be available. Colo only has Spirit Link. He needs his teammates next to him. The Cinder Ghost gets dropped early. Colo getting pressured. Pillar of Frost, ticking time bomb. 4 seconds is going to be available. Colo rides the wind to get out of there, gusting back behind the pillar just when Pillar of the Frost came back up, and he needs to stay very far away right now or risk a certain death.
No, Method's doing a great job of recovering. They were peeling OG Dark off and Zayon. Yeah.
Oh no, he had Wraith Walk still. He Wraith Walked back to him. It's going to be a race to the finish. Who can kill which healer first at this point with Pillar of Frost available? Zion is waiting to pull the trigger. I'm surprised they haven't gone just yet. Voodoo Totem onto the Pillar of Frost. Colo trying to stay alive. Earthen Shield Totem has failed. Trill pulls back to peel for Colo. Good awareness from Trill to not go for the race. And now OG Dark is in trouble. He's dangerously low. Icebound Fortitude needs to be potentially traded out here as Jai is caught into a blind. Colo, though, caught into the stun as they pull the trigger, looking for the final kill. Colo caught into that Fist of Fury, trying to jump, gets gripped on the jump. Will he be able to get the support and hang on? Will Jai go down first? It's a race to the finish. Blinding light onto Mez. Jai trying to kite away behind. He needs to be behind the pillar so he can Blessing Protection without it being purged, and Colo knows that. So Colo goes all in. He gets on top of the Paladin. He's getting ready to purge the Blessing Protection. He knows it's finish now or never. He gets out of line of sight, though, with the Blessing Protection. He needs to stay away from the Shaman. Colo chases him down, purges it off, paralyzes him for Mez to reconnect. Fist of Fury to follow it up, and Jai has nothing left. How is he going to stay alive? It seems like they're trying to peel him away. Great peels from OG Dark.
Yeah, great
and now
peels.
Jai will survive, and now Colo is on the back foot.
He is. That was that all-in play that they needed to go for. Being up 2-1, they're allowed to do that. OG Dark getting low. Icebound Fortitude has already been used. He doesn't have much left. They're going to go offensive. There we go. Storm, Earth, and Fire going up. But the life bars, look at how low Imagine PvP is. They're going in on Colo, though. This is going to be it. They have to go for the cross kill right now.
There's no cooldowns for... I know, Avenging Wrath. This should be easy pickup for him with that. Oh, no, it's not!
Okay.
Zion's going to go down. I mean... Do you really lose as the Death Knight Holy Power? Do you really lose? He got interrupted and OG Dark is going to go down. Method Synergy pull off the cross kill, and I don't think a Holy Paladin is going to 2v1 a Death Knight and a Windwalker. All he had to do was connect one heal, and OG Dark would have been fine. Jai is going to try and play it out. I mean, Mez might die by accident somehow here to a Holy Paladin.
I don't think Method Synergy are going to make any mistakes. Not here. They are going to be able to close out this series against Imagine PvP. That's 2 NA wins in a row.
And what an ending to that series. That was incredible. We knew that Colo was going all in on the push right before that, on the go right before that, all in. Chased him down, purges constantly. Paladin was able to get away, and we knew at that moment Colo's in deep trouble.
I want a player cam on Zion right before he died. I want to see if he like took his hands off the keyboard or something, and because he could have just rolled away, portaled away, paralyzed the DPS. I feel like there were so many things that they could have done before going down.
I think it's one of those like celebrating early kind of things. You know, it could have been something like that, and that definitely happens.
Oh,
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it so many times where you know, a player stands up after a kill, and then it almost comes down to the 2v2, you know, at that point, and it's your own fault, you know?
It's definitely not over until it's over, but this series has come to a conclusion, and it is going to be Method Synergy on top, and they get to do it in that mirror. They said that that wasn't a thing that they necessarily wanted to go to. They were never going to lock in the mirror.
I see why.
That was a scary
right? They are absolutely fantastic on that composition, and they are also incredible at counter-comping, but the mirror, just not a position that they want to be in at all. But how were they able to come out on top, Zico? I know it was a little bit hectic there, so it's going to be tough to break this one down, but let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, there was so many different things happening in this game. I mean, I thought that the Holy Paladin team, it's like a game of chicken when you're playing this matchup. You want to have two DPS, like we saw in the start of the game, on the healer on one side, and then the other two on the other side on the Holy Paladin. But the first team that backs out is usually the Shaman team, because the Shaman doesn't have a bubble. As soon as the Holy Paladin uses his bubble, you usually see the Windwalker DK of Team Method Synergy at this point fall back and kind of help out their Shaman. But we didn't see that because they just had more pressure. And when you PL with the Holy Paladin, you're kind of losing the advantage of the Holy Paladin. And I really think that if they played more aggressive, then Imagine PvP probably would have taken this game.
Yeah, let's take a peek at just that. Let's actually unpack some of these key moments to see how they were actually able to come on top, Method Synergy being able to close this one out.
So right here at the start, we see a nice aggression onto GPVP. We see Colo standing on one side, and then we see Trill and Mez doing their setup onto G on the other side. One key thing to notice here is that G had to use his trinket and his bubble. So right there is an overlap of his cooldowns, whereas Colo just used his astral shift. And then here again, Colo is being pressured, and OG Dark and Xeon right there used a very DR'd leg sweep on Colo. If that leg sweep hadn't been DR'd, Colo probably would have just straight up died right there, or they would have had to use at least the anti-magic zone and, you know, all kinds of defensives, and they would have been in a very dire spot. And this is the third leg sweep I see from Xeon that isn't good. And then right here, obviously the end of the game, Colo managing to fall down, and then we see the cross kill come in onto Xeon right there. Nice stun from Trill and Mez, keeping it going. A grip onto G into a kick with Bob up, because a DK can actually kick through Bob. And then before the next heal comes through, Mez and Trill manage to finish the job.
Wow.
The last cast there from G was at 90% when his Death Knight died. That was, and we all know DK Pala, you know, once you stabilize there, they're going to take down a 2 DPS team easily.
Now, we talk about Method Synergy being one of these teams that is phenomenal at countercomping. One of the true masterminds that they have. He's an absolute legend. Mez, we get to hear what he has to say. He's on the floor right now with Bajira.
That's right, Rich. Thank you so much. We are standing by with Mez, fresh off of a pretty intense series, finishing off with a cross-kill comeback. That was awesome. But as Rich was alluding to, you guys definitely make a big deal about making the right comp selections. How do you feel like your comp choices were in this match?
I think we did decently. I think maybe at the start, they might have mind gamed themselves a tiny bit with their comp pick, which was really lucky for us, because we felt like we were kind of backed into a corner with maybe 1 or 2, and not the one we actually planned today when we woke up. Like, we kind of had like a different thing in mind. We watched those first couple games, and we felt like that was our only real option that we had, that we practiced a lot of. But yeah, so it went pretty well, I think.
Yeah, comp choices definitely look good, but also some specialization choices were pretty interesting. You've got to tell me about this Ravager spec that we saw from Trill.
Trill has some interesting ideas with his talents. I'm not sure you guys have noticed, but like in every class that he plays, he like picks up his class the first time, and he just tries random stuff out. And Ravage is like a PvE talent, so people played in PvE a lot. It ends up going pretty well with Ursula's, I think, in that matchup for us, so we use it as kind of like a burst. You sacrifice a bit of, I think, of sustained damage, but it ends up being like kind of easy at kills with, I guess, for us.
Yeah, it seems like if you stack the Ravager with Anger Management plus Storm of Destruction, it ends up being a really short cooldown that, you know, feeds you Rage and also does a ton of AoE, so that was awesome. But in that last matchup, even though it was a close one and it was pretty tough, you guys are looking strong, and obviously you were the champions coming out of the North American Regionals. Is winning BlizzCon a real possibility in your mind for you guys?
I think somewhere in there it is. Maybe starting to be, but it feels like a long way away for us, for sure.
Well, you guys have definitely demonstrated some serious prowess so far, and you've also shown that you know what it takes to be a champion, at least in the North American regional stages. Definitely looking forward to continuing to see you guys kick butt in this tournament, but we are going to throw it back to the desk to get our final matches for the day going.
Thank you so much, Jackson. Yeah, I knew he was going to ask the Ravager question.
Of course he's a warrior.
I knew Jackson was going to be able to avoid that one, but Bajir definitely had to get some of that warrior insight. But